Hey, it's Roman Rich here at the Gasconade River Bridge here in Hazel Green, Missouri. Got myself together a small group of individuals. Most of them are locals. Some of them come from out of state to help save the bridge. And we're here kind of as a last-ditch effort to gain awareness for our beloved Route 66 bridge here, located just on the edge outside of Pulaski County and inside of the Laclede County line. And so we're going to talk a little bit with some of the individuals here about what this bridge means to them, but more importantly, we're going to discuss the whole idea of how we're going to actually try to get this bridge saved and who should be interested in this bridge, what individuals or entities should take interest in this bridge. And I'll start off by saying that MoDOT is giving the bridge away not just for free, but they'll actually give any responsible entity, in other words, financially responsible entity, they'll actually give them the funds that it costs to demolish this bridge, and that's estimated to be right about $200,000 right now. So we want to kind of bullet point a few things and go over a few things. This is an old section of Route 66. Route 66 is a historic landmark in itself. Started in 1926, decommissioned right around 1985, and this bridge is older than that. This bridge was built in 1923, so this is actually older than Route 66. This is one of the first bridges in the area. So what does that mean to us? Well, Route 66 is a highly important tourist destination for people all over the world. We see people from all over the globe coming to experience Route 66. Pretty soon, over to our north, that's the new bridge that was built to take the place of this old bridge. And sometime this year, they're going to open that bridge up. Now, what's going to happen when that bridge opens up? That bridge is going to open back up, and that's going to take all the Route 66 tourists that were having to take the interstate to go west. Now they're going to actually be able to get back on Route 66 to come down this road, skirting around this bridge. But in my estimations, that's going to cause a lot more visitors and people to actually come to this bridge and stop and see it. Would you agree with me?
100%.
Yes. Yes. We're getting a lot of visitors down to the bridge now, and that's kind of remarkable because they have to go way out of their way to get to this bridge. From either direction, they have to go way out of their way, miles, to get back to this bridge. Now it's just as simple as they'll be driving past it, and it'll take a little 1/8 mile detour to get down to the bridge. So when that happens, from what I've found on Route 66, and just in tourism in general, is that when people stop and they get out and they start exploring and they start experiencing the area, well, number one, their fascination grows as to the history of the area. What's going on here? What happened here? What are some of the remarkable things that took place in this area that I'm at? But more importantly, they get hungry, they get tired, they need gas, they need stuff. And when they need stuff, where do they go? And that's going to lead us on to where I'm going later on in this topic. So before I get to that, I want some people to share their stories about Route 66 and this bridge in particular and how important that is. This is Ray Jeter. He's a longtime local. Try to speak up, Ray. I know you're...
I'm born and raised here. My mom and me and my brother learned how to swim underneath this bridge right here whenever we were 6 or 7 years old. And there was a big park up here, and there was always a lot of activity going on. And a lot of people walking back and forth across this bridge, because even then, it was already in history. It's got radically worse since. My grandpa on my mother's side bucked rivets on this bridge in the late 20s. Whenever it was built, this one end right here has been totally, this small end, it's been pretty much totally replaced because the trucks come down through here and tear it down.
Yeah.
Down off over the hill too fast. no wrecks on the other end, but it's all up here because of the curve.
Yeah.
Little tavern up here, and they back out in front of the trucks. They didn't have anywhere to go besides over here.
And they hit the side of the bridge.
Hit the side of the bridge, always on this side over here.
Yeah, and that's a good point. So when we first set out to save the bridge about almost 5 years ago now, there was some discussion as to maybe the county could take over the bridge, and at that point we really didn't know what was going to happen with this bridge. It took a couple of years for Missouri, MoDOT, to figure out what they were going to do exactly with the bridge. And one of the reasons why the Guardians advocated for a new bridge instead of repairing or replacing this particular bridge, I mean, obviously out of the gate we wanted to see this one repaired, but this is a major incident bypass route, so when something happens out on I-44, they divert all traffic to this section of road, and you can see we're all standing here in the middle of the road. How wide is the road? It ain't very big, and you can just imagine two semi-trucks coming down at the same time. This is a dangerous section of road to be used as an incident bypass route. So the Guardians heavily favored building a new bridge to skirt around this one or to spur around this one. It's been done before. It's been done in many places before. Like off the top of my head, Riverton, Kansas, they did that with one of their bridges. You can actually still drive that one. Another one is Rio Puerco Bridge, just outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico. In that particular bridge, you can't drive on it, but it's an old bridge too, probably a little bit younger than this one, but you can still walk on it and stuff, but the road goes around it. Why we wanted to do that is because we were afraid of people coming down and hitting this bridge and damaging it to the point where they were forced to replace it. So now at least it can remain in place and just sit here in peace and not have to be worried about disturbances. In fact, just to the east of us, back in Pulaski County in Devil's Elbow, Missouri, they've got a bridge almost identical to this one. And they had it restored back in 14 or 15? 14.
Yeah, we've been about 4 years ago.
Sometime in 14 they opened up Devil's Elbow Bridge. Well, like a year and a half ago, somebody with a large truck hit the bridge and took out the upper girder. We don't want to see that happen to this bridge. So if you're thinking about, well, why don't they reopen it? Well, that's why. It's a historic structure. We want to see it remain for the long term, and if it's subjected to modern traffic, there's a good chance that it could get damaged and possibly demolished just through the use of the public.
They raised these girders overhead.
Yep.
3 times.
Yeah, you can see where they raised the girders.
12'6" whenever it was built.
12'6".
Yeah.
So we've got over 2 foot addition to it.
They raised it 3 times.
So here's kind of our plea. I want to go into a couple things. We were talking about making tourists stop on Route 66. They're going to stop and see this place. They're going to get out of their car. They're going to look around. They're going to go down to the water's edge. They're going to take in the sights, the smells, the sounds of the Ozarks. And when they leave out of here, we're kind of breaking up that momentum of their travel. They're going to be eager to stop in the next town to spend some money. And that's where tourism dollars come into play. The next town from here, and predominantly most travelers are going to head west from here. Most of your Route 66 travelers, they go west. They don't come east. I'd say probably 80% go west.
Start from Chicago.
Yeah, most of them start in Chicago rather than starting in Los Angeles. So the next town up in this county is Lebanon. That's the next town, period. There's no other big towns at all. There's a couple gas stations here and there, but if you want an actual town where you can find centers of commerce and supplies and food, places to sleep, you're going to be stopping in Lebanon. That's why this bridge is important to the city of Lebanon and to Laclede County. These phone numbers you see behind me, these are for significant people that are part of the leadership of Lebanon and Laclede County. So right now, MoDOT has their whole STIP thing going right now, and that, without getting into a lot of details, it's just a federal guideline that they have to follow to allow people to speak out against something being destroyed, such as this bridge. In order for MoDOT to be able to carry out the process of taking down this bridge, if they want federal assistance, financial assistance, they have to have an open hearing for people to talk about the bridge. It doesn't mean they have to do anything, and I can tell you they're not going to do anything, because it's really their objective in life for MoDOT is to provide safe passageway for people using their transportation systems. And they've done that by providing this bridge just to the north of us. They've fulfilled their obligation to the public. They're not in the business of building parks and resorts and things like that. However, Laclede County, and you see these numbers up here, does have an interest in this. They should have an interest in this bridge. This bridge is a big source of tourism for Laclede County, and they don't even have to do anything. The bridge comes with a $200,000 approximate gift from MoDOT. Doesn't mean that they have to use that money for the bridge. It just means that they just have to keep it kind of on the books, keep liability insurance for it, and that's about it. And a perfect example of another county that did the same exact thing is down in Joplin, Missouri with the Reddings Mill Bridge. That's a different type of bridge, but same thing. The bridge came up for replacement. The people kind of spoke out against it. There was talk about somebody putting on a restaurant on top of the bridge. Finally, Jasper County finally just said, you know what, we'll take the bridge. They got the money from MoDOT that it was going to cost to demolish it. And if you go there today, the bridge looks pretty much similar to this now, where the wildlife is growing up around it, vegetation is growing up around it. It's somewhat maintained, but they haven't done anything to enhance the bridge. So that's my argument, that's my appeal to Lebanon and Laclede County. And so if you really want to help out there in Facebook land and YouTube and all that, if you really want to help, you can help. You can be a part of this. We would like, and we're going to provide down in the comments some important links that you can go to make sure your voice is heard. But in addition to sending in your comments to MoDOT, because they want to hear it, but we feel that it's equally important or even more important to contact these people, every single one of them on this list right here, and not chastise them, but support them, support the community, and tell them how important it is to put this bridge into Laclede County, to make Laclede County assume ownership of this bridge. That's how important it is. I also want to mention the fact, for anyone who's out there in Laclede County, again, the bridge, it could pretty well remain as it sits right now. It is, however, eligible for some significant grants through a lot of different organizations. And there's actually, this is through Vicky Hartzler's office, they told me there's actually some organizations out there that will help find any and all potential grants for different organizations that are available. So there's grant money available for this. Lord knows that there's tons of people in the Ozarks that are very volunteer-minded that will come out and help clean up the bridge, take care of graffiti, maybe knock the weeds and stuff down, things like that. There's a lot of people that'll do that because they love this bridge, and this bridge is a source of many memories for you all, isn't it? Lots of memories. I've only been doing Route 66 since the early 2000s. I mean, I've come across this bridge since then, but that's just the tip of the iceberg compared to what everyone else here has seen and witnessed over their lifetime. All right, Mark Norman, tell us a little bit what motivated you about getting the shirt. How did the shirt come to fruition here?
My very first trip in November, I came through this section. I was using the Route 66 navigation app, and it showed this as a point of interest. It's not just a bridge. It's a piece of history. It's something that we can carry on. This is just an unbelievably heart-touching place. Help us save it. Call with these numbers and make the appropriate letters or whatever's necessary to save this baby. Thanks everybody.
Appreciate it. You know, we're sitting on the bridge right now. Nobody's scared of the bridge, and nobody's in fear that the bridge is going to fall. One of those reasons why we can do that is because the Gasconade Guardians, as a group, we set out to raise money to get a private engineering study done for the bridge. We had them come all the way up from San Antonio, and they spent 3 days here examining and analyzing the different aspects of this bridge and what makes it safe or what makes it dangerous. We paid a pretty good sum of money to get it, about $12,000 what we paid to get that study performed. This bridge is not going anywhere. Verbally, the engineer told me this bridge could sit here another 50 years and not go anywhere. So it's not like it's a detriment to our community. It's a pillar, it's an icon of our community. Please call these numbers. Please find their addresses, email addresses, and write them letters. Every one of them. Get every one of them. Tell them how important this bridge is. Who else would like to speak? Marie?
I also took the family road trip in 1967 with my siblings and my parents all the way to Disneyland. And 4 or 5 years will be the 100-year anniversary for this bridge. And we walked across the bridge today. This is actually my first time back since those years ago. And it's a beautiful river here. You have a site over here that you could go canoeing or launch your kayak at. People can picnic, and it should be saved.
Thanks, Marie.
Sure.
Well, we're probably going to be winding it down, but I do want to stress the importance of shifting our attention from MoDOT over to Laclede County. We think it's highly important to them. There's a couple other individuals that if anybody out there happens to know how to get in contact with, I'd like to hear from you. Johnny Morris, who happens to own Bass Pro Shops, I know he's a strong advocate, and his daughter Megan Morris, they're in the middle right now saving a bridge down in Ozark, Missouri, along with the mill that's right there next to it. And that's a phenomenal place. I mean, it's a beautiful bridge, looks almost just like this one, and the mill is right next to it. It's a fantastic place to take pictures. And right now they're working on that project, and I applaud them for that. I'm hoping maybe they might be interested in taking on another project, and again, they don't have to do anything with it, they just have to show responsibility that they can absorb the financial burdens that may arise, not that will arise, but that may arise. In other words, they don't have to actually spend any money, they just have to show that they're capable of spending the money if that were to come to some sort of need. Another person, Steve Plaster, he's the son of Robert Plaster. If you don't know the history of them, Robert started the Empire Gas Company here in Laclede County. Pretty well widely known name. If anybody has any connections to Steve Plaster, we'd like to talk to him too, see if he's interested in possibly putting this bridge into his possession. And it would be great to see a kiosk of some sort, a little informational center explaining the history, but not only that, helping to guide tourists as they progress out west. What are some of the attractions that lie awaiting for them in Lebanon, at Bennett Springs, throughout the downtown? It's a great opportunity for Chamber of Commerce to make their presence known here and to demonstrate to people, hey, we've got an active town here with a great economy that has everything you need, and we would really like it if you come and stop and shop with us. One thing about this bridge, incorporating into future use, I've already seen, and Elizabeth here, she's a photographer, I've seen and heard of wedding shoots taking place here already. Yep. I've heard and seen prom pictures being taken here already. So there is a legitimate interest in this bridge from the locals. I mean, people aren't going to drive from 2 hours away to get their wedding photos taken here. I mean, they could, but it's not likely. But people here locally are doing it. So it's definitely a legitimate interest here from your community, and that's why Lebanon should take a special interest in making this part of their community. Yeah, it's a few miles away, but this could be the gateway to Laclede County, the gateway to Lebanon. Anything we can do to get in touch with these people, I would say email is probably the best method of communicating with these important individuals, the leadership of Laclede County, and letting them know that this is an important part of the Ozarks and an important part of Laclede County. I want to thank everyone today that came out here today. I want to thank everyone out there in Facebook and YouTube land that are sharing and watching this and paying attention. I appreciate your time. The people that drove from out of state, like Mark and Marie, people that came from around the area that come out today on Father's Day of all days. Special thanks to all you guys that came out. I'm Roman Rich. I appreciate your support. Please get in contact with these people, and we're going to get this bridge saved with your help, and we're all going to be really happy once that's accomplished. So, as always, go your own way. I'll see you down the road.